What do the Twitter accounts of Elon Musk, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden have to do with digital forensics? Well, more than you might imagine. My name is Brian Chase. I'm Director of Digital Forensics here at Archer Hall, and today I want to talk to you about the recent Twitter hack. You may have heard about it. It resulted in people like Elon Musk, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden tweeting out that if people sent them $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, they would double it and send back $2,000 in Bitcoin. Of course, these tweets were not actually made by those people. They were made by hackers. Hacker got access to Twitter's God Mode account. This is an account that allows anybody at Twitter with these credentials, with this username and password, to go in and basically make any changes they want within Twitter. So a hacker got access to this account and then was able to pose as all sorts of users and post this similar message all over Twitter. Some estimates say that the hacker ended up getting somewhere over $150,000 based on tracking the Bitcoins online. But what does all of this have to do with digital forensics? Well, what it shows us is the problems with relying on digital evidence alone. If you were to just take screenshots of Barack Obama's account, you would think that Barack Obama posted that message, and yet he never did. If this was a case in litigation, now all of a sudden that tweet might be used against him in trial. So it illustrates the point that just because a tweet is under somebody's name does not mean that they tweeted it out, that they were the ones that posted it. So how do you deal with this in litigation? If somebody's saying, I didn't post that message, yet it shows up on their account, how can you prove that they did? How can you prove that they're lying? Or on the flip side, if somebody is accusing your client of posting something that they didn't post, how can you establish that your client was not the one that posted that message? Well, Twitter and most social media companies and online companies, they actually track who logs into the accounts. This is how Twitter was able to figure out what occurred. They were able to go back through and look at logs and figure out not only which accounts did hackers access, but what they accessed. They were able to figure out that hackers were accessing the direct messages of various accounts, as well as downloading the contents of some accounts. These log files are generally available to you as well. There's a number of ways you can get them. If you're dealing with your client's account, your client can download the contents of their account, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or any other platform, download the contents of their account and look at the various logins. In those logins, you'll generally see an IP address. IP stands for Internet Protocol Address. IP addresses are how traffic moves around the internet. They're like your street address on the internet. So what it can do is when you get the login information and you see the IP addresses associated with it, you're going to see potentially a different IP address logging into the account at the time of the questionable social media post. And if you see that, there's a good indication that maybe it wasn't your client or wasn't the opposing party that posted the message. So what you can do from there is find out who owns that IP address. Internet service providers like Cox, CenturyLink, Comcast, Verizon own a lot of IP addresses. And so you can look up who the owner is. Let's say it's Verizon. You can then send a subpoena to Verizon and say, Verizon, tell us where you assigned this IP address at the date and time that this questionable social media post was made. Verizon will then write back and give you the assignment, which customer they gave that IP address to. And that might give you indication of who actually made the post on that social media account. If it didn't trace back to your client's home or your client's phone, then maybe it's an indication your client did not make the post. It's not exclusive. It doesn't rule out that your client didn't make the post. They could have gone to a friend's house. They could have been doing it maybe from a public Wi-Fi at Starbucks. But it is a way to help narrow down and figure out who was making posts on social media at a given time. It always makes sense to check out the IP addresses when you're dealing with a post on a social media account that might not have come from the actual user. If you need help with this process of figuring out who was logged in, where that IP address was, please give us a call. We've done this many times and can walk you through the process and assist you every step of the way. I hope you found this video helpful, and we look forward to talking to you in the future.